Okay, great. All right. So welcome everybody to the childcare update study done by a committee of the State League, which we participated in, although we were not given credit in the written report. And that's fine. We didn't get any feedback from the inquiries that we made in the county. Julie really uh, did the main job there, and but anyhow, it was very interesting trying to coordinate with the local district. Would you say, Julie,
It's
the
the ESD.
ESD? Okay, great, cool. But anyway, so we finally got this report. It's basically 26 pages long with a bunch of appendices, however you say that. And so I'm going to open and share with you the consensus questions, and we'll just get started. We'll just jump in. So let me find that. It should be open, and it does not look all documents. Okay. Oh, well, that's interesting. So I need to do something else, I guess, because I'm not seeing it. So I'm going to stop sharing for a minute if I can figure that out. I'm not sharing anyway. Okay, hold it. Let me close this now. Okay, what I need to do is make sure that the documents are open. So here's the child consensus questions. Okay, now I'm going to try to share that. And here we go. I believe. Let's see. Yeah, this is it. Can you see this? It says caring, LWVOR, caring for our children consensus form.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, contact person. Julie, do you want to be that?
That's fine.
Okay, great. I'm going to put you down. Maybe I can just type it in for the moment. And number of members participating, there's 4 of us. And contact phone. Julie, do you want to be the contact phone?
Okay. 541-999-7831.
Thank you. And all right. So let's go. The note discussion leaders summarize. I don't know. Anyway, they're going to use this to create a position. They're going to take all the, oh dear, sorry about that. They're going to take, oh, excuse me. Um, I'm going to ignore that for a minute. It'll stop. They're going to take all the different leagues' responses to these consensus questions, and the consensus committee will create a position that we will vote on at convention, I believe is how they're going to handle this. And then the action team at the state level will be able to, even if we would be able to do that here. Oh golly, I'm going to mute this for a minute. I'm sorry. Gosh. Okay, Robin, where am I muting this audio? All right. Hey, thanks for your patience. Okay. So the action team, the advocacy team at the state level will use the positions to lobby for what we decide via these consensus questions in the study. So that's really cool because they do a lot of work. They go to all these hearings, they speak out, they speak to the legislators, etc., and they're very quite influential at the state legislature. So that's cool. So
Yeah.
here we are. And Julie, I'll just put your email in there.
Okay, you've
Thank
got
you.
that?
Yeah, I do. And I should know it by heart by now. So let's go to A, planning and organization. How can Oregon strengthen its programs and services to support children's learning and development? Number one. So this is a section in the report. And number one, Oregon should establish a coordinating agency organization to engage in overall comprehensive planning to provide overall planning for care and enrichment for children and youth during non-school time. What do you think? Yes or no? Or what would you say otherwise? I personally would agree.
I agree.
I agree too.
I'm going to mark it in red since it says one oval. I don't see any ovals. So we'll just put it in red. And then I'm going to go through this and we'll send the final document to the state league. Anyway, we'll go to number two. Oregon should provide licensing and oversight for all programs involving children and youth 0 to 18 years. What do you think? Agree, disagree, other. Provide licensing and oversight for all programs involving children.
Well, I'm not sure whether every
Mhm.
privately run program, for example, church programs, would need to be licensed. I don't know. What's the opinion on that?
Yeah, I think so, but I worry somewhat about the burden of the licensing for the
Mhm.
individual care organizations. There are reading the report, oh my gosh, some of the qualifications to be included in these programs, funding programs, was like so steep, it seemed to me. But
Yeah, so one question I have is
yeah.
if someone's just providing care for a few children in their home, uh, that would be very burdensome. So is there a minimum number of children participating that would kick this in?
Good question. Well, that's it. The licensing now relates to how many children are in the program and the space that they use. So I think it would have different levels of uh, licensing or requirements for different levels, is how the report, I think, sums it up. I mean, what do you think, Julie? Any?
Right. I do believe there are differences in the way they license according to the kind, like if it's in home or if it's like a daycare facility. I just would hate to think that who was providing great care would be apt not to do it if they had to, you know, meet really stringent requirements. Um, Not that they're not safe, you know what I mean? I'm trying not to, just
Well,
trying to think about
yeah. I
like family situations, that sort of thing. Yeah.
right. Yeah, and at the same time, you need some level of
Oversight.
yes,
Right.
thank you. That's the word, oversight.
So, yeah, I wouldn't disagree, but that would be a
Mhm.
kind of a worry I would
Right.
have.
Maybe we could say we agree, except we worry about burdensome oversight for smaller uh, childcare facilities.
I'd
Something
like that to be entered into it. Yes, I think that'd be
Mhm.
a good idea.
we
Mhm.
would.
If resources were limitless for uh programs like this, I mean limitless, then we could have all sorts of requirements, and but burden is real. My sister took care of children in her home, and then all of a sudden she had to start jumping through hoops. And of course, it's all because of safety for children. And yeah, but
Yes.
yeah,
So what do you think about that statement that I just typed? Can you see that?
yeah, overburdening smaller.
Yeah, we would like to, but we also worry.
Yes, I think that's good.
That's my concern. Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. All right, thank you. We'll move on.
It sort of puts the soft pedal on it a little to
Right,
say
we'd
like
like to agree, but gosh, yeah, it's intense for and we don't want to discourage the smaller guys because we need them, you know, and there's just not enough childcare now, it seems, apparently. Okay, number 3. Oregon should provide a clear, comprehensive permitting process that includes adequate opportunities for public input. Well, yeah, I would agree with that. What do you think?
public input.
Well, that's fine. Yeah, I'd agree.
But he disagreed.
Agree.
Okay, cool. Number 4, Oregon should conduct an in-depth cost/benefit analysis that includes economic benefits to the economy, for instance, increased jobs and wages, higher tax revenues versus cost to taxpayers. Example, increased revenue needed for subsidizing care, public safety oversight and licensing, long-term monitoring for the public and for the legislature. In-depth cost benefit analysis. You know, I guess that's true, you know. Um,
I
yeah.
I don't know exactly what they're looking for there because there's been quite a bit of research done that shows that there's a great return on investment when you provide quality care for young children. Um, I guess I'd hate to see a whole lot of money spent on something that we already know, uh, but if that's what's required to
Mhm.
make people support the idea, then so be it. But I think it's pretty much of a no-brainer for most people already.
Right, true. And I wonder how to word that. Um, should Oregon conduct an in-depth? It seems like what Jenny says is true, that a lot of that has been revealed in this study. Just give
Right.
this
I
study.
agree with Jenny.
We should just give the study to the legislature.
You just look it up.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I
All
mean,
right.
the comment could be that
Mhm.
prior, there's prior information, there's information for prior studies that might be enough. I don't know.
All right. These facts. What do you think?
Good. Yeah.
So we don't really agree or disagree. Um, can't we use can't we uh, can't we point out those studies? Something like that.
I think that says it.
Can we point out or use oops use those studies uh, to educate the public and the legislature? Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Good. Okay, thank you. I guess. If any of you object to any of this, let me know. We can reword it. Oops, okay. Funding, next section. Number 5. Oregon should provide subsidized funding for after-school and summer programs that include education, enrichment, and experience. No, I agree with that.
I agree.
I do too.
Um, 6. Which of the following programs, education, enrichment, and experience, should receive funding or subsidies for non-school time programs? Check all that apply. Should receive funding or subsidies. Okay, infant care, toddler care, preschool care, before and after. School care for K through 3rd grade. Before and after school for care for 4th grade to 11 years. After school care and enrichment for middle schoolers. After school.
Does this list continue on to the next page, or is this?
Oh, there is a little bit.
Oh, all of the above. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I'm in favor of all of the above. I don't want to exclude children of any age from enrichment programs that would help.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
They're all important, it seems like, you know. I'm especially in favor of the younger ones, but I would go for the high schoolers too. So anybody object to saying all of the above?
No.
Okay, funding. Oops, whoa. Hit that. Oh, no, it's too little. Okay, let's try it again. Is that okay for you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What funding sources should be considered in providing non-school time care and enrichment programs for families with low economic income levels? Check all that apply. None of the above, all of the above. It doesn't even have an all of the above. Parent fees on a sliding scale. School district subsidies. Property tax. What funding sources should be considered? State general fund, kicker funds, lottery funds, large employer subsidies, grants, startup funds for providers.
I would say all of the above.
Okay.
Is that what you're going to say, Nancy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to type it in here.
Oh, wait a minute. They don't. We should say contact all the billionaires.
Right.
They're just wasting money on the
tax
world.
funds is what you're saying. Funding sources. Is that right? Raise.
Well, state general fund would be tax dollars. I'm surprised they don't have the option for all of the above because, the more broadly you can collect the funds, I think the better off you'd be.
Right. Maybe that was an oversight. I don't know. And raise revenue to afford covering
Well, these are all sources of revenue.
Yeah, true. What funding sources, right? Okay, we'll just leave it at all of the above. How's that?
I think that's okay.
Okay.
Number 8. Number 8. This is the ERDC program. That's the early Oregon Employment Related Daycare federal program. What changes, if any, should be made to the Oregon Employment Related Daycare ERDC federal program? 8. Expand eligibility to age 14. Mark only one oval. So do you agree or disagree? See, I'm not sure what the age is now, but it must be below 14.
Right. I think there's a general concern that there are not enough programs and activities for middle school and high school students to engage in. And it's good to have those things so they don't become idle and get into trouble. And I think that would be a good way to spend dollars, is to include kids up to 14.
I agree.
In the summary at the beginning, the overview said that early childhood is a focused time for their development, and the next most important one is middle school years, the adolescence. So
10 to 25.
Yeah.
I thought that was amazing. Cool. Okay, so we're agreeing there. Now then, number 9, use a sliding scale for parent fees.
I agree.
I agree too. Yeah, just one scale would be hard.
Right. Well, if we had one scale that was affordable for everyone, that would
Yeah,
be
right.
even better. But I guess I
Yeah,
would agree.
but then, you've got to consider those who can afford to pay more. You really want to take advantage of it. I'm sorry, but childcare costs a lot of money,
Mhm.
and you can't just put it all on the state for everybody. So you have to figure out, I'm especially concerned for the low income people.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could put it all on the state for everybody. That would be
Oh,
universal,
oh,
child
this
care,
is
which I think I would favor. But if we have to ask
okay.
parents to pay,
Yes.
then it should be according to what they can.
Well, the
In an
trouble is,
ideal world, we would not have to ask them to pay.
well, this is true too, but I think of the other agencies as well. We have 14 natural resource agencies that are all underfunded. So, looking at it from how expensive government is and how many people don't want to pay taxes, I think we got to do the sliding
Yeah, I
scale.
agree, but I also strongly
Yeah,
agree that children are our future and we should be
this
investing in
is
them.
this is very true. Okay, so agree for number 9 is okay with y'all, huh?
Yes,
Right.
for
Let's
me.
go on to the next section of D, evaluation of quality. Care of children and youth should be enriching and not just babysitting. Accountability for funding is needed to demonstrate program value. Long-term evaluation of out-of-school time programs is needed to determine full accountability. Number 10, what measures should evaluate quality? Check all that apply. Let's see what we got here. We got quite a list. So let's start here at the top. Number 10. Okay, check all that apply. Adult to kid ratio. Oh, yeah, that's
Yes,
important, right?
yes,
Ability of kids to get along with other kids appropriate to age and ability. Yeah. Ability of kids to follow directions. Health screenings provided. Oops. Language development, English and indicated other home language for pre-kindergarten. Ability of kids to count to 100 for pre-kindergarten. Ability of kids to use letters A through Z for pre-kindergarten. Improvement in school grades for school age. Decrease in or lack of behavior problems in school and the program. Outcomes based on percentage of attendance and duration of program, number of weeks. 7. School attendance for school age. Let's see, what's the question?
What measures should evaluate
What measures should
quality?
evaluate quality? Okay. Well, the first one for sure. Ability of kids.
Do you want to just highlight the ones in red
Yeah, that's probably a good
that
idea.
we agree with?
Um, what else?
That's a weird question. What measures should evaluate quality?
Right.
Evaluate.
Yeah.
Well,
Say it another way. I can't follow that.
well, that's what they'd have to determine if they're licensing or providing funding, is what I
Well,
think.
evaluate that's not the right word.
Okay.
What am I missing here? Should reflect quality? What?
Or determine quality,
Something like
maybe
that.
Yeah,
because you do
Right.
want programs to provide a quality experience for children, but I'm not sure that all these specifics are possible for
Well, for one thing,
every program.
when you put a limit, this is why I don't understand. Ability of kids to count to children develop at different levels, ages,
Right.
speed. I cannot stand it. Sorry, you teachers, but I can't stand it when if you don't read by the third grade, you are in the idiot group. I'm sorry. No, you don't ever say that.
Yeah. We understand.
But I'm a stickler for development being
Right.
I
right,
don't like that. Yeah.
right.
Mm.
So,
Right. I agree that children develop at different rates, and um, while you're providing as much as you can to get them ready for kindergarten, if you're a pre-kindergarten program,
right,
um, I guess consideration would be made that not all students are going to reach those goals, and that wouldn't be disqualifying, hopefully, for the provider. But,
mhm,
I mean, certainly you'd hope
The-
that a lot of students would gain
mhm,
confidence and skills, but
right.
how to
So,
um,
so one of
evaluate that, I don't know.
the one
Okay,
of the uh well, it's not really a metric, but guidelines, I believe, for development is that you present a child at a certain age with the opportunity to discover the thing. You present the child with the opportunity to to learn the thing. And that could be pre-kindergarten. Present them with that opportunity. Some will catch it and some won't. So first grade, you do the same thing. You present the opportunity to discover these things. And
right.
So when
Yeah,
it says, going down to the next one, ability of kids to get along with other kids appropriate to age and ability. And then the next one, ability of kids to follow directions. You are not, I mean, that's an individual thing for children.
right.
Some will be different. You can't evaluate whether or not the program
Yeah,
is doing what they should by individual children's abilities. So I would not be
yeah,
in favor of marking those two.
yes.
yeah.
Okay, I agree.
I agree.
How about health
You-
screenings provided?
Yes,
That should happen, shouldn't it?
right.
Well, I
Just
guess it depends on to what level you're requiring it. I mean, are we saying that students have to have their vision screened in a
probably
home
what
provided
Oregon laws
daycare?
say.
I don't know.
Yeah, probably what Oregon laws say are required for school-age children, you know?
I mean, schools do provide that, but
Right, but we're
I'm not
talking
sure
about
that,
maybe before school. I mean, that,
I mean, I guess if the state were to provide it, but I do see it as perhaps another burdensome, overly burdensome
uh,
ask,
well, you want to know if that,
unless
yeah,
it would depend on what those screenings are.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure that every daycare setting is equipped
Should we take
to
this off?
do
Yeah,
vision and dental screenings. I mean, are they?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah. How about language development for pre-kindergarten, home language? I think the ballot is printed in 72 languages or something. It's like incredible. So I don't know if you could, you know, um,
So are these
determining quality.
okay? So what the okay?
Yeah, yeah,
In
improvement.
other words, you've got a quality program if
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
check all.
right, right, decreasing
No,
it.
honey,
School
Well,
attendance.
certainly you would want language development to be happening, and I don't think this
Yeah,
is saying that
okay.
multiple languages are required. It's just that that would be something that you might get extra credit for if you had it.
And it would be considered evaluating for quality. Ability of kids to count to 100. I don't think that has to do with the quality of the program.
No, and not A through Z either. No,
An
that shouldn't.
improvement in school grades for school age. What are you going to monitor the child's school development to qualify? I
For
don't.
daycare or
Yeah, I just
no.
Yeah, I don't think that the daycare can be held responsible for improving
no.
school grades. I mean, it
Attendance
probably
even.
will, but I don't think they should be evaluated on
Yeah,
that.
and then they're going to check school attendance. I'd say just leave it the way we've got it here. What do you think?
Well, that's talking about attendance in the daycare program, I think. And
It,
I
uh,
think that might be important because if students aren't showing up
Okay, yeah, yeah.
enough, then you don't want to be judged on their performance.
Well, yeah, and you don't
Oh,
want
oh, no, oh, I was thinking of the one ahead of that, above
out,
that.
this one outcomes or
Hmm.
this one improvement. Which one?
Outcomes based on percentage of
Okay.
attendance. Because if you have a lot of students not
Yeah.
attending regularly, and you might be,
Yeah, that's a good
you
point.
might have low, you know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, outcomes or less than desired outcomes, but it might be because the kids just aren't showing up, not that it's based on what you're doing.
Well, it also looks like
Right.
the next
Right.
one could be considered school attendance for school age. I guess it's almost the same as the one prior, huh?
Seems very similar, but I guess we could mark both.
Okay, is that fine?
I guess so. Although with school
Yeah.
attendance is something that is a parent responsibility, and it's not something that the daycare or after school provider can really impact.
Right. Right.
Right.
So
So
many things could keep,
maybe not
Yeah, I agree with that.
So take this off.
change that one.
especially
I know
low income people.
Sure.
school attendance or lack thereof is apparently a big problem in Oregon right now,
It is. Right. Yes. Okay,
and it is a parent responsibility.
so we're fine with checking the ones that we've checked. Adult to kid ratio, that would determine quality.
I think that's one of the most important things, that
Yeah.
eye-to-eye contact, shoulder-to-shoulder contact with an adult
Great.
in these kids' lives.
Okay, cool. Okay, so we're gonna go on.
I'm just still a little wondering about the last one that you marked, outcomes based on percentage of attendance and duration of program. Again, that just is depending on whether the parents get them there.
Well, and
And
outcomes, how do you determine the outcomes, you know?
One way I'm interpreting this is that summer programs were mentioned, or there might be programs that are of a limited duration in terms of weeks. And so the outcome for that should not be as high as the outcome expectations for something where students attend every day of the year after school or something. So if that's the way I interpret this, is that evaluation of outcomes should consider how many weeks or days the program's even in operation.
okay, that makes sense to me.
Okay, good. Great. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna move on to 11. Ah. Computer. Oh dear, what's it doing? Oh dear. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm having problems here. What's going on? Okay. I'm trying to do this. Oh. Ah. Sorry. Computer's in charge. All right, here we are. Trying to go. Okay, there. Now we'll go like this. Okay, golly. Okay, so 11. How should long-term research be conducted? Check all that apply. Long-term research be state. Long-term research should be the state, right? What do you think? I'd say state
Yeah.
for one.
Yeah, I think maybe all of these ways, but
Yeah, right.
we can go through
Let's see.
ones.
Seek funding from national grant agencies. No. Provide funding through the state legislature. Yes, I would say that.
Okay.
Long-term research. Utilize school and education service district data. Yes.
Yes.
Don't you think?
Yes. Mhm.
Data should be coordinated with school districts, ESDs, and ODE to enable tracking in, yes, don't you think?
Mhm.
Should be coordinated with data. Track outcomes on an aggregate basis, all information from across the state combined. That's interesting, yes, don't you think?
Mhm.
Track outcomes at the school level, track outcomes at the district level. I think both, yes? What do you think?
Well,
Long-term research, I don't know at this,
Mm-hmm.
because kids move and
This is
yeah, I'm
true.
not sure what is meant by the school level. Is that their
Well,
regular school or the preschool or
it'd be whatever
uh,
school they're going to. I would think at least yeah,
I don't think that would be relevant to your other
long-term
child
research,
care programs.
but it's about long-term research. And so I guess if you're going to track outcomes based on an aggregate basis, that's information across the state combined.
we've
So,
already got the data from the ESD and the ODE.
mhm,
See, when
Yeah.
they try to track
uh-huh.
kids, say, test scores or improvement,
Mhm.
what the problem is at the school level is a lot of those kids move from school to school. So you're going to come out with not everybody at those levels.
Right, right.
And it might be okay at the district level, I don't know, but I would still think you'd run into the same thing.
Mhm.
Yeah. What do you think, Jenny?
I agree. And also, I think we want to improve statewide. So we're looking at, state aggregation, maybe because schools differ by socioeconomic levels and, districts as well. I think,
Excuse me.
where are we
Valuable.
going? Okay.
I was just looking
So
at this.
I agree that maybe those would be less valuable. Going back to seek funding from national grant agencies, I think if that funding is there, uh, that would not be a problem. I think it'd be a good source. In fact, if studies have been done in other states,
Right.
Oregon could learn and maybe not reinvent the
Good.
wheel.
Very good. Like it. Cool.
I think
I
that's
will
good.
leave the last two uh, unchecked, supposedly.
Yeah, because I agree with Julie. It's so fluid. It's really hard to
Um,
pull much from it.
Mhm.
Robin, in
Yeah.
under 11 there,
Yeah.
at the bottom under other,
Mhm.
after other, you could even say what
Yeah.
Jenny just said about checking with programs from other states if they're available for a little research.
Tracking from other
Checking.
states.
She said check.
I'm
I
sorry.
think Nancy's saying, like, when I said don't reinvent, Oregon shouldn't reinvent the wheel. I mean that uh, other, I don't know, Oregon should take advantage of
Mhm.
other
Existing
existing research methods or something.
Other states.
from other states if other school
Um,
state
okay.
to
Other states research.
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 How's that?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
All right. Number 12. How should evaluation results be displayed? Check all that apply. Individual schools, district level. Well, district level, since we're not evaluating individual schools. I mean, are we? Evaluation. See, if you're not coordinating the research here from the school level, we wouldn't want to, and even the district level. Hmm.
Maybe at the community level, like the ESD serves the entire
Mhm.
county.
County level.
County
You think
level, maybe.
county level?
In order, it seems to me, and you school teachers would know more, but it seems to me anything that is reported to a district, well, a district level, has first been discovered at the local school level. I mean, so it's first the school, then the district, then the.
See, that's the thing though. We've got these two up here,
I know.
but we're ignoring these two here.
Well, they're talking about long-term research.
Evaluation results. I'm thinking it should has to do with the again the long-term research that we just
And I think
about.
back there on 11 where our other says Oregon should take advantage of other states' research, I would say research methods or something, or techniques,
Research
Uh,
data.
well,
No,
That's
method.
methods.
Mhm.
Okay. And then down here, this is okay here. We agree evaluation should be displayed at the county level. Since we're not tracking it from the school level or the district level. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of hard to,
Yeah.
we can't project. I mean, if after school programs, preschool programs turn out to be provided by the schools or the districts, then it would make sense to evaluate those at those levels. But if it's not being provided through those,
Mhm.
if it's not tied to those entities,
Mhm.
the data is not really going to relate to them.
Right.
So if individual schools are doing their own thing and they're not even required to, oh, okay, I see that. I
Right,
just figured,
because yeah, they might have programs that are not, you know, your regular program. If they have a before school program or an after school program, then it would come into purview, I think. I'm just looking at this is evaluation of quality. Care of children and youth should be enriching, not just babysitting. Accountability for funding is needed to demonstrate program value. Long-term evaluation of out-of-school time programs is needed to determine full accountability. So that's where they're talking about. And so I think this number 11 relates to number 12, but I'm good with this. How about you?
Again, I think it's complex because
Mhm.
we don't really know who the providers are going to be, and the evaluation should be related to the providers. Um,
yeah.
like I say, if schools are providing these services, then evaluation could be in, related to the school. I
Key
mean, then
provider.
it would apply. But if they're not, I don't know.
Okay,
I
so
know I'm thinking like growing up in the 60s, there were after school programs at my elementary school, but I'm not sure who provided them. I think they may have been provided by the city's Parks and Rec department.
Mhm.
mhm.
So then, you know,
But
they would be the ones who'd be evaluated on their success, not the school.
they probably would have received funding from the state for that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
They're not going to
But
just
their
come up with
outcomes would not be reflective of the school in any way.
Huh.
right. So that's why I said evaluation should be provided by um, outside of school time providers. What do you think? I know it's deep. Well, let's go on. Let's think about it some more.
Okay.
Unless you have something to say right now, I think we need to move on. We've got 31 examples, 31
Okay.
things
Yeah.
to fill out. So, and a lot of it is very intense if you're not involved on this to begin with, on a state or local level. E, space. Many programs cannot expand because they lack space. 13, planning for subsidized housing in new school buildings should include space for childcare. Agree, don't you think?
I do too. Yeah,
I
I
agree.
agree.
Okay, great. Okay, 14, define the distinct characteristics of after-school programs, summer programs, and in-home care programs to help providers understand and meet regulatory requirements. Mark only 1.
Agree.
I agree.
Agree.
Okay. Let's go on. 15, communicate facility requirements in plain language. Agree.
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 No, we want it more complex. Number 16, provide licensing and certification assistance rather than take punitive actions. Building inspections, training reviews, etc., would benefit from providing coaching and technical assistance. Well, yeah, I'd prefer it than punitive.
Agree.
Agree.
Benefit from, yes. Good, good, good. We can go back and go over the ones we had a hard time with. 17, ODE should help local governments develop similar building codes. Yes. I mean, it's crazy to have all different building codes, don't you think?
Seems reasonable.
Okay.
You know, just if there's a lot of caveats, oh my God.
Well, yeah, I mean, with regard to
Right.
school facilities, yeah.
codes. Right.
Okay.
Okay. F, curriculum. Curriculum content makes a difference in program outcome. 18, delivery should have goals and guidelines to promote continuing process improvement. Mark only 1 eval. Oval. 1 oval. Okay. Delivery should have goals and guidelines to promote continuing process improvement. Well, yes, I agree.
Agree.
Yeah.
Okay. 19, oversight is needed to ensure goals are met.
I agree.
I agree. We can't just not have oversight. 20, equity, respect, and the needs of diverse cultures should be incorporated into planning and addressed to benefit all children. I agree.
I agree.
Older youth need to be involved in planning to help them develop independence and responsibilities. I agree. That would be great, don't you think?
Yes.
And now programs. Okay, 22. Oh, here we go. I'm sorry, folks. My computer's in charge. Okay, so programs over 50 participants should have a parent advisory council or committee. Well, I do agree with that too. How about you all?
That's fine.
I would think they would need that. And I think most
Yes,
towns
you would
have,
hope they could find some parents in that many.
yeah, right. If you got 50 participants, gee,
I hope.
somebody's bound to be interested. Okay, G, staffing. Personal relationships with staff make a difference in positive development. 23, licensing and certification for staff should be in one state office. Yes.
I agree. I remember this from the study that was a problem for caregivers.
Yes, right. Confusing. It would be confusing to not have it in one place. Okay, 24, background checks should be conducted by one state office with an emphasis on efficient and prompt responses.
Agree.
Yes. 25, staff should be compensated for training time due to the requirements needed to maintain employment.
Agree.
I agree.
Okay, 26, applications and records should be promptly maintained online and accessible to education employers statewide.
I agree.
Yeah, okay. I agree too. Anybody else? Anybody
Agree.
object? Okay, great. We're going to 27. Training should be offered at a variety of times at accessible locations or online, free or subsidized and available in additional languages. Well, that would be
Agree.
ideal. I would say so. Sure where they go. Maybe that's the oval. Yeah. Anyway, they keep mentioning that I've not seen in other places. Okay, 28. When the latest research on curriculum and procedures are available to programs, it should be disseminated to provider staff.
Agree.
Yeah,
Agree.
yes. Let's not keep it a secret. 29. Credit for certification should be given for experience as a provider in formal education programs. Credit for certification should be given for experience. Oh, yes, I agree. How about you?
I think that's, yeah, they hadn't
Is that
had
right?
to evaluate it, but mhm.
Yeah, I agree with Julie. It would depend on what you'd have to have some way to evaluate the experience and
Right.
whether it was, interchangeable with the training. I think having everyone get the same training is desirable.
Right. Well, they're talking about credit for certification.
Right.
It'd be given for
Okay.
experience as a provider. Don't you think? Do you agree?
Well, they already do that, don't they, in some programs, it's
Probably
not,
some, but maybe
it
in a
doesn't cover
Yeah,
everything, but
probably. And it may be like people who have experience in a different state would benefit from that.
right. So
What kind of credit are they, you suppose this is referring to,
for
credit?
Right.
credit for certification, like you get a certified, you've gone through education for that childcare program to some degree and gotten some certification. Isn't that right? Isn't that how you should interpret that?
Um, when I was a substitute IA for years in the school
Oh,
districts, Glide School District and Roseburg School
yeah.
District, we did have some, oh, group, uh, it wasn't really education, but we would, what's that building over there by Bimart? Isn't that ESD now?
ESD, wait, by Weimar
Yeah.
in Roseburg.
That's the Roseburg School District office.
That.
Right, right,
We
right.
would go
Yeah,
there and then there would be a coordinator of all of us and they run some obvious things by all of us. We didn't
yeah.
end up with a certification of any
No,
kind,
no. But
but we were in the schools working with those children one on one. I don't know.
I think what they're talking about here is when a program is certified, the provider should be given credit for their experience. Isn't that correct? Well, I agree. I mean, we should be crediting people for what they have accomplished.
Okay.
Is that the way you see
yeah,
it?
it
Anybody?
doesn't cover all the certification requirements,
Right.
but just a portion, as I understand it, I've never had this before myself, but what about you, Jenny? What do you think?
If the wording of this is complicated, it's not real clear to me. But I think I agree with this, but it's just not very specific. So it says for experience as a provider in formal education programs. I'm guessing like maybe if they've been trained in, you know, a certain program that's known, as like a certain behavior management program or something that has a name. If they've been doing that, then they shouldn't have to take the training for that. They should get credit
Right. They should.
for knowing that without having to repeat it, I think is the idea here,
Yeah, I agree.
which I would agree with.
Okay, good. 29, we're good.
Huh.
Yes, Nancy? Any further comment?
I I don't know how they're going to staff all this.
Well, this is just general ballpark statements, so they can use it kind of open-ended to for certain subjects. So that's why it's not real specific. because they could use it on a variety of levels if they get enough agreement. You see?
Yeah.
You follow me?
Right. I mean, yes, I did follow.
Yeah, I see some of it is very open ended because they don't want to be too specific because then they couldn't lobby or advocate for certain things if it's too specific, you see. So therefore, most all of the state league positions are very open-ended and very not specific. They're like, oh, we're in favor of the lower income to receive benefits, or in certain categories, depending upon what they're talking about. But anyhow, they leave it open, very open, so they have latitude, so they have leeway to discuss and lobby for things that we would agree for, that we agree on. And a lot of it's for low income and for those who don't have benefits otherwise, Anyway, okay, number 30. There should be equity in salaries between non-school and school employees with the same experience and responsibility. That's a biggie. What do you think about that? Non-school and school employees.
See,
That
I think that would be very hard to implement.
I
right,
mean, I
right.
didn't get paid what the
Yeah,
regular.
right. But if you're hired, there's a difference between volunteer work and like program coordinators, for instance. Someone running a school operation should be salaried, but I don't know about inequity. But I would say yes. In a perfect world, there should be equity.
Well, okay, but wait a minute. So school employees have got degrees in education and they're salaried, and then people who come in for after school things, I'm I'm relating to them in my substitute position. Uh,
I would say,
and I was paid by the hour, not a salary. And there were lots of people like me. I mean, there's not enough money to go around. I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah, I
it's not
agree.
the
I think it
same.
would be it could be a burdensome requirement that would uh, actually interfere with having enough people in the non-school programs,
Right.
enough staff.
So, what do you think about that?
They should be paid a good wage,
Right, right.
but school
The
employees
equity
also
for it.
get health insurance and other benefits, and I think it
Right.
would be very complex to have them be the same.
Equity depends on the education level and experience.
By the way, if it makes any difference to any of you, the substitute IAs,
Yeah,
many of them couldn't put a correct sentence together themselves. I was aghast at who all could fill that position. I was really
right. So
shocked.
is sentence okay? Equity depends on the education level and experience of non-school and school employees.
I
Comparing,
don't think I really agree with that. Like I said, I would probably just put disagree because I think uh,
Yeah.
it it could be a burdensome thing for those other programs to match
yeah,
school employee salaries.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
yeah. Okay, I'm gonna take this out.
I would say
Yeah,
disagree.
okay, let's do that. All right. So 31, the state of Oregon should provide forgivable loans for students in education majors. Working in underserved or high poverty areas should be the basis for forgiveness. What do you think about
I
that?
agree. I mean, Nancy just pointed out it's hard enough to find qualified people. We need to use whatever incentives we can.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. Yeah, I like that myself. Additional comments. Thank you for taking the time to discuss and respond to these questions. You want to go back and look at anything like that number 11 or whatever it was?
Mhm.
Those two together were kind of like, what? Okay, here we go. 11 and 12. How should long-term research be conducted? By the state, seek funding, provide funding, utilize school, yes, data coordinated with the school districts, ESDs, track outcomes on an aggregate basis. And then we skip these two.
That I think is okay because they're talking about long-term research.
Yeah, right. So Oregon should take advantage of other states' research methods. And should I say, and Oregon should? Because we are checking off these as we agree.
Or you could say Oregon could take advantage of other states' research. Well,
Oh,
however you say it, I'm just really glad that
Yeah,
Jenny brought that up because I think that it
cool.
would be very helpful. Maybe
Great.
nobody else is doing something like this.
Very good. Okay. How should evaluation, number 12, how should evaluation results be displayed? Check all that apply. Provide results to individual schools. Provide
I
results.
do think we should do that.
Yes.
If results are great and
Well,
yeah,
if we're not tracking it though at a school level,
that but the tracking at the
you,
school level,
I guess then you're just gonna provide results to individual schools on a district level because we talk about that up here.
oh,
At a
okay.
county level.
For a
Right.
county,
And see,
yeah.
that's why
I
we
mean,
said,
they are part of the county,
yeah, right.
the individual schools in the district. So they're going to just get it for the whole county
Right.
and they'll be part of it, I would think.
Is
Yeah.
that enough for evaluation purposes? Would be a question I have.
So 11 is about long-term research. 12 is about, I guess that word displayed is a little bit unclear to me. It's
But
about
yeah.
communicating results,
Mhm.
I guess. And there'd be no harm in providing results to individual schools or districts.
Right. No.
I'm not sure
Well, then
how, and I'm not sure how they would use it, but
well, see, I don't know
it
how
would,
you would,
they
how,
could have it.
yeah,
There'd be no
but
harm in them
if it
having it,
doesn't
I guess.
relate to their specific level, I don't see what use it is really. You know what I mean?
Well, you know how school teachers are informed constantly with incoming emails. They're inundated with information, things that they could do, opportunities available, etc., always coming into them. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't a school teacher, and you two gals were.
Well, I think if, say, for example, schools knew that certain preschool providers in their area or summer programs were getting really good results, they'd want to
Mhm.
be able to recommend those to the parents.
I know,
Um,
right?
so yeah, I think there's no harm in in schools and districts getting those
Yeah,
results so they know what they can recommend or encourage.
right.
So just
Okay.
check all that apply. Do we want to make a statement under other on number 12 about the county level? Or should I undo this?
Maybe we could say in other also at the county level, or let's
Or we could say leave it up to each school district how they want to do it.
Well, you can't do that because that would be too much
Okay.
individuation or something. It seems to me it's got to be one way or another, or multiple methods, but not elect to do it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That would be time consuming. It'd be a survey process. Then you'd have to identify everybody and make exceptions and so forth.
Mm.
I don't know. But yeah, so what about that last other statement? Are you okay with that?
Evaluation should be provided by outside of school providers. I guess it should also be
Provided by, it should be
analyzed or
for
scrutinized by some outside source.
evaluation of OST providers. It seems to me it should
See,
say
evaluation should be
of OST providers. Should be
evaluation of OST.
should be provided. Evaluation of OST providers should be provided. You see what I mean there? It's like we were just talking about. You want to know who's doing a good job or not. Research.
I mean, I would be willing to put on 11, include the school level and district level. And I mean, what they're going to come out with is just not as comprehensive probably as they would wish because of kids moving and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and on number 12, the other says evaluation of OST providers should be provided. Should we add to the public? I mean, that should be available information
That's good.
For people who are considering putting their children in a program.
Yeah, I like it. That's good. Anything else on these two? Are you okay with all these?
I have a quick question. I don't mean to keep us
Sure.
all here
No,
too
no.
much longer, but boys and girls clubs, who plugs into those? Aren't those after
They're going to
school?
be funded in probably in multiple ways, from federal to state, depending upon what kind of kids you get. You know, if you've got, depending on demographics of the children. I mean, if
Mhm.
they're low income, if they're, Black, Indian, or Asian, or what have you.
Is that a private, but Boys and Girls Club, is that a
I
private?
think it's funded by communities. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
because they
that.
do fundraising. I know in Florence they did
Yeah,
local fundraising
yeah, I
for
think
it.
they have multiple. Uh, I worked for a child care OST program when I first. My first job was in Chula Vista at a girls' club,
Oh,
and I was just an assistant, and I worked for two college girls. They were going to San Diego State College, and I was in high school, and we had a great time.
Yeah, Nancy, that's a really good question. I'm not sure exactly what the funding streams are for Boys and Girls Club. I know that they do they do fundraise in the community, so they rely on private donations for some of their funding, but they probably do get some, I'm just guessing that they get some government money that's been set aside for those types of programs.
Right, absolutely. Yeah,
well,
gosh.
Most of those places need a combination of funding streams to
yeah.
survive.
Probably plus, parents would have some kind of percentage.
Yes, and parents do pay to
Yeah,
send their children to the
right.
Boys and Girls Club
Depending
on a
on their,
sliding scale.
right, right. There you go. Okay. Okay. Any other changes here? Would you like to go over anything else? Or are we finished at 12:15? What do you think? Done?
Yep.
High five.
Okay.
Well, great. Thank you all very much. And I
Thank
will submit this with checks and stuff instead of the red.
Yeah, if you
Uh,
can find those ovals
yeah,
somewhere.
right, right. Yeah,
You know, I think you could submit it as is, Robin. Don't sweat it. It's fine. They didn't
thank
show you
you.
any ovals, so this is a good alternative.
Right on. Okay, I'll do that then. That'll make it
Can
nice and
I
easy.
have a quick question?
Yeah,
So
Julie.
I'm the contact person. Um, should I just have a copy of what I didn't write this all down myself. Could you give me a copy of it, Robin, so
Yes,
I
I'd
know
be happy to.
what we said? In case you have a question.
Yeah, no problem. Anybody else want a copy? And if you do, you can always request it because I will keep it as a keepsake for documentation purposes. And
Sure, send it to me too. I'll put it in my
oh,
files.
great, Julie and Jenny. And see, I'm going to include a recap in our newsletter. So I'm looking for newsletter articles now. So, like Julie, Nancy, if you would provide a garden tour article. I've got a few articles going myself, and I'm hoping mid January a newsletter will go out. I did ask Stacy if she would, but she's moved her mom into her house, and her mom is having surgery and so forth. And sounds pretty intense.
Robin,
Yeah.
are we still recording?
Yes, we are. Thank you. I should stop. I'll stop sharing and
I'll,
stop.
I'll get an article to you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, well, yeah.